to get your fix. Are you ready? Are you ready to get your fix? Are you ready? Are you ready to get your fix? Are you ready? Are you ready to get your fix? Are you ready? Are you ready to get your fix? Are you ready? Are you ready to get your fix? Are you ready to get your fix?
With the Wicks here on this beautiful Monday, July 11th, 2022, and welcome to the show, whether that's on Facebook or on YouTube. If you're on Facebook, hit that like, hit the share, follow the page. If you're on YouTube, hit that subscribe and the notification button so you're notified every time we go live and drop a video. So hopefully you all had a wonderful weekend. I know I did. Got to go see some classmates, some people that I grew up with over the weekend. We had our little, town celebration type stuff. It was pretty fun. It was a great time. Straggled my way back home about 3 in the morning, so it was great. Okay, we had a fun time. Hopefully you guys did as well. But today we're back talking about the NFL. What has happened this past weekend? Well, nothing. Okay, y'all heard about the Zach Wilson rumors and what's going on with that. We won't dive into that because you guys can have your chance. And the first thing that comes up, well, the Pittsburgh Steelers are renaming their field. Their stadium gets a new name after 20 plus years of being Heinz Field. We'll give you my opinion and thoughts on that, as well as talking about, Condoleezza Rice, who just joined the Broncos ownership. Yes, a team that was bought for $4.65 billion just a month or two ago. She joins that ownership group, which is kind of weird, kind of odd. And I'll tell you why in just a few moments. And then we'll end the show with talking about what is the status of Jimmy Garoppolo. I know everyone's been keen to see what's going on, but we'll get to the bottom of that at the end of the show. So with that being said, are you ready to get your fix? So today we all kind of learned that which was once Heinz Field will no longer be Heinz Field. The Pittsburgh Steelers decide to move on from their name after 20 plus years. Let me tell you something. It's going to be different. It's going to be kind of odd that it's getting renamed. But we've been seeing that for, the NBA. We had the Staples Center move to Crypto.com Arena or something like that. It's a weird change. It's a really weird change because I've known the Pittsburgh Steelers field as Heinz Field literally my entire life. At least as long as I've been able to comprehend what football is, Pittsburgh Steelers have always played at Heinz Field. Now, they are not moving stadiums. They're just renaming their stadium, and it comes due to the fact that, as Ari Mirov reported, Heinz is not renewing their naming rights agreement with the Pittsburgh Steelers, meaning Pittsburgh's home stadium will have a new name for the first time in 20 years. And you see it right there. Heinz Field is now going to be called Acrisure Stadium. I think I'm pronouncing that right. Not 100% sure, but it is really odd because Acrisure is actually a Michigan-based, what is it? Well, how they pronounce it? It's like a Michigan-based firm, some type of firm over there. So it's kind of really odd that they're doing this in Pittsburgh. But it is what it is. We can't do nothing about it. But Heinz Field, Heinz is not renewing their naming rights agreement after 20 plus years. I mean, that is just bonkers in my opinion. But with this new naming of Acrisure Stadium, they're actually using this name for the next 15 years. It's a 15-year deal. Not sure how the money side of it, what was paid and blah, blah, blah. I'm sure the Acrisure will get some of the revenue from this, but they renamed it. I don't know. I really don't like the name change. I wish Heinz would have figured it out and got it done, but they didn't. They didn't want to. Something just happened, fell through the cracks, and they just did not want to renew their naming rights to the stadium. So it is now changed. It is now Acrisure Stadium. You guys can give me your thoughts in the comments. Do you like this name change? Should they have done this, or should it have stayed Heinz Field? In my opinion, it should have stayed Heinz Field. I wish they would have figured a deal out or a way to get the deal made, but just didn't happen, basically. So that's big news. Massive, massive news. In other news, a couple months ago, about a month and a half ago, maybe 2 months ago, the Walton-Penner family ended up purchasing the Denver Broncos for $4.65 billion. Yes, they did. $4.65 billion. That's what the Broncos did. But they haven't stopped there. They've been looking to spread the love. And they did that with adding former Secretary of State Condoleezza Rice. Yes, this woman right here. She is a massive football fan, has been her entire life, apparently. If you don't know who she is, well, look her up. She was on this year's Manning cast, which was on Monday Night Football for 10 games, I believe, or 10 weeks on ESPN2. She basically was on there because she's a massive football fan and was giving her takes and her thoughts and stuff like that. And it's kind of odd that she becomes part of this ownership group, the Walton-Penner family ownership group, because she really isn't a Denver Broncos fan. No. She stated on the Manning cast that she's a huge Cleveland Browns fan. Yes, Cleveland Browns fan. But she doesn't become ownership or have part ownership of the Browns. She goes right over to the Denver Broncos and says, give me a piece of that, okay? I'm not sure if the Denver Broncos are her second favorite team. It'd be kind of odd if that were the case, because Browns, Broncos, both in the AFC. So it's like, are you sure? Are you sure you want to be part of this ownership group? But she does, and I believe the only way or the only reason why she did this move or decided to become part owner of the Denver Broncos was because that she wanted to be involved in football at some capacity. And now she gets that opportunity. Tries to get the Denver Broncos led in the right direction. And, well, now she's going to lead them to potentially beat her Cleveland Browns when it comes playoff time and blah, blah, blah. I'm not sure how well this is going to work out because, it's like if I were to become part owner of the New Orleans Saints. I despise the Saints, being a Minnesota Vikings fan, right? I despise them, but it's like me joining them, trying to get them put in the right direction, even though they wouldn't need that help. And then at the end, like we meet up the NFC Championship game, I have to root for the Saints because I'm part owner, even though I'm a diehard Vikings fan. It just doesn't make any sense. But it is, what it is. What are you going to do? She becomes part owner of the Denver Broncos, and the Denver Broncos actually released a statement here. This is a statement from Rob Walton on behalf of the Walton-Penner family ownership group. He says, "We're pleased to welcome former Secretary of State Condoleezza Rice to our ownership group. A highly respected public servant, accomplished academic, and corporate leader, Secretary Rice is well known as a passionate and knowledgeable football fan who has worked to make the sport stronger and better. She is the daughter of a football coach and served on the inaugural college football playoff committee. She moved to Denver with her family when she was 12 years old and went on to attend the University of Denver for both college and graduate school. Her unique experience and extraordinary judgment will be a great benefit to our group and the Broncos organization." Well, I learned a lot right there reading that statement. I did not read the statement before. Probably should have, but hey, it makes sense now. Even though she's a diehard Browns fan, being part of the ownership group of the Denver Broncos has been in her blood, basically, because she moved there when she was 12, it said, attended the University of Denver, so she has a pretty good background in the city of Denver, basically. So this is a good move, I think, for the Denver Broncos. She brings her knowledge of, football college football. She probably is really invested in that, and she's the daughter of a football coach, so she can bring that aspect into it. And really, it's going to be interesting to see how or what they do, because you really don't hear too much about the owners or from the owners unless you're Jerry Jones, and well, basically you're not only the owner, you're the general manager, you're the scouter, you're everything involved in that organization. So Condoleezza Rice is now part ownership, or has part ownership in the Denver Broncos, who were bought for $4.65 billion. I'm sure her pockets are already filled, but well, now they're going to be overflowing with money. So congrats to Condoleezza Rice on becoming part owner of the Denver Broncos. And last but not least, what's going on with Jimmy Garoppolo? Earlier this offseason, it was speculated that Jimmy G and the 49ers were going to part ways. Well, I'm not sure if that is going to be factual, because Baker Mayfield just got signed, or just got traded to the Carolina Panthers, in which the Carolina Panthers were actually one of the destinations, or the probably most preferred destination for Jimmy Garoppolo to land. The 49ers are looking to roll with Trey Lance as their starting quarterback this upcoming season, so their plans for Jimmy Garoppolo is to either trade him or cut him, and I'm sure they wouldn't want to cut him because they still have to pay him. So they're looking to trade him. But because Baker got traded to the Carolina Panthers, options are now slim. Do you have to roll with Jimmy G? And I'd say you probably should, right? Because you don't know what you're going to get out of Trey Lance. What happens if he's a bust? And, that would be very brutal on the ownership and the GM side of things. But Jimmy G has proven himself. He's been to a Super Bowl. He was a player under Tom Brady for how many years? He's done it all. Been to an NFC Championship game. Led the 49ers, yes, the San Francisco 49ers, to the NFC Championship game last season. Now, that was mainly due to Deebo Samuel being a freak of nature, being the beast he is, wanting a new contract. But Jimmy G has proven himself. So where does he go? Where does he go? You can let me know in the comments where you think he should go to. You think he should stay at the 49ers? Do you think he should go to the Seattle Seahawks, in which they only have Drew Lock and Geno Smith right now battling out for the number one spot? I think Jimmy G would be a great fit in Seattle. It is a team that is struggling. They still have DK Metcalf and Tyler Lockett. They bring over Noah Fant at the tight end position, so that's a huge addition to that offense. Their defense, Jamal Adams is still over there. They have Quandre Diggs, or I believe they still have Quandre Diggs, but their defense is okay. Their defensive front, their offensive line needs some work, but I think they're just fine. They did lose Bobby Wagner, but Jimmy G would be a great addition there. So Tom Pelissero actually did us all a favor in asking Jimmy G's agent what Jimmy Garoppolo's status is, and here is what Tom Pelissero had reported. He said, I asked 49ers quarterback Jimmy Garoppolo's agent, Don Yee, about Garoppolo's shoulder, the status of trade talks, and a radio host's recent comments that the Bucs had reached out about acquiring Jimmy G as their heir apparent, again, to Tom Brady. Yee's response, he's progressing well and on schedule. We're optimistic about the upcoming season. Over the weekend, a report came out that asserted that I had spoken to a media member about his future, but the report was false. Well, kind of gave us a vague statement there. The one thing you do notice, though, is that it says he's progressing and on schedule, which basically means his shoulder will not affect this upcoming season. He should be ready to rock and roll come training camp. Now, training camp, he might have less reps and have to really kind of sit back and just kind of relax and take reps when they're necessary. So he's ready to rock and roll, or he's going to be ready to rock and roll. But he never stated that, are there trade talks going on? And I assume there are. I'd assume that there have to be. Because, look, the Atlanta Falcons, you really think they're going to roll with Marcus Mariota the whole season? Or the Bucs, looking for their next successor to Tom Brady, which would be quite ironic, being that Jimmy G was actually his successor in New England at one point. So the Tampa Bay Buccaneers would be a really good spot for him to go, especially that they're still built up in a decent way. They have a great offense, a great defense. They're a playoff team. They're a Super Bowl caliber team. But I think the best scenario will be to find a way to trade him to Seattle. Now, Seattle probably doesn't have that much to give to the 49ers in a trade package, being that they got rid of, or they traded Russell Wilson to Denver, got Drew Lock, Shelby Harris, and Noah Fant, and a couple draft picks. So basically, Seattle would only have, I think, maybe a couple draft picks to send their way, maybe a lower depth chart guy, unsure of the position that they would send over. So Seattle, you could see it working out, but I think when you're looking at straight trade capital, there are other spots that I believe Jimmy Garoppolo could go. The Bucs would be one of them. I think they have a lot of trade capital to give to the 49ers. Not so sure about Atlanta. Pittsburgh, even though they just drafted Kenny Pickett, doubt that would happen. So, with that being said, it doesn't seem like there's a great trade suitor, being that the Carolina Panthers just got Baker Mayfield, and that would have been the number one trade suitor. I think the 49ers have to stick it out with Jimmy G. Let him ride off this 1 year, then send him to free agency. Keep him on the 49ers, because we know what he's been able to do the past couple seasons. Multiple NFC Championship appearances, a Super Bowl appearance. Yeah, he may not be the greatest passer in the league. He's been injury-plagued the past couple seasons, but he still finds a way to get it done every single time he steps on that football field. So I think the 49ers just have to roll with the punches, keep Jimmy G on the roster, and let's see what happens. So let me know in the comments what you think Jimmy G should do or what you think the 49ers should do. Do you think they should keep Jimmy G? Or do you think they should trade him? And who do you think they should trade him to? Because I think we would all like to know the answer to that question. So with that being said, that's all I have for you guys today. Thank you so much for tuning in, whether that's on Facebook or on YouTube. If you're on Facebook, hit that like, hit the share, go follow the page. If you're on YouTube, hit that subscribe and hit the notification button, because it'd be much, much appreciated, and you'll be notified every time we not only go live, but drop a video. Go enjoy the rest of your day. It's a beautiful one out there. Get a little sunburn, get a little tan, whatever the case may be. Have fun doing it. Stay safe, be happy, and you just got your fix with a Wix. Deuces, folks.